Most people wake up each morning without intention, drifting into their day as if they have no control over what will happen. They move through their hours reacting, not creating. They accept stress, chaos, mediocrity, and disappointment as if they are unavoidable. They settle, not because they lack talent or potential, but because they never made a decision to demand more from themselves. The quiet truth that most never confront is that settling is voluntary. Mediocrity is not a destiny stamped on anyone. Mediocrity is a silent choice repeated day after day until it becomes identity. And excellence? Excellence is available to anyone who decides to raise their standards. The real separation between extraordinary and ordinary is not luck, intelligence, or wealth. The separation is standards. Those who achieve greatness simply decide they refuse to tolerate average behavior, average results, average effort. They decide that excellence is the bare minimum for them. That mindset changes everything, because standards create habits. Habits create achievements, and achievements shape life. Many years ago, I asked a successful businessman to share the secret behind his accomplishments. I expected to hear about strategies, opportunities, or some hidden advantage. What he told me shocked me and changed me. He said, "The secret is that I never accepted what most people accept. When others were satisfied with getting by, I demanded more. When others made excuses, I made adjustments. While others lowered their standards to justify their poor results, I raised mine and worked until I lived up to them." That one principle reframed everything I believed. Standards aren't optional. They are the thermostat of life. If you set the temperature of your life at just getting by, everything you do will maintain that temperature. But if you set your standards at excellence, your actions, habits, mindset, and decisions will fight to reach and maintain excellence. The challenge most people don't even realize they are living with is that their internal thermostat is set incredibly low. They tolerate lateness. They excuse lack of discipline. They rationalize laziness, procrastination, inconsistency, and broken promises to themselves. They've gotten so used to disappointing themselves that they no longer feel the sting of mediocrity. They have comfortable failure. They are not sad, they are numb. And numbness is more dangerous than pain, because numbness keeps you stuck. The tragedy is not people aiming high and missing. The tragedy is people aiming low and hitting and thinking they succeeded. You were not designed for average. You were not made to fade into the crowd. You were created with a capacity for greatness. Not the greatness of fame or applause, but the greatness of fulfilling your highest potential. But that potential will remain locked away until you raise your standards to match what you are truly capable of. The moment you raise your standards, discomfort arrives, not as punishment, but as proof. Discomfort is the bridge between where you are and who you've chosen to become. It's the tension that pulls you toward growth. When you decide that punctuality matters, being late will feel embarrassing instead of normal. When you decide fitness matters, skipping the gym will feel like a betrayal to yourself. When you decide growth matters, wasting time will feel painful. The discomfort is not a signal to quit. It is evidence that you are evolving. Something powerful happens when you elevate your standards and sustain them consistently. The world begins to respond differently to you. People treat you differently. Opportunities show up that were invisible before. You attract the kinds of individuals, relationships, and environments that belong to a person of excellence. You begin to walk with confidence, clarity, and purpose. You begin to live deliberately. People don't respect those who beg for attention. They respect those who hold themselves to a higher level. Excellence commands attention. Excellence commands respect. Excellence attracts excellence. Excellence is not perfection. Perfection is paralysis. Excellence is consistency. It's the decision to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel motivated. Motivation creates moments. Standards create transformation. Excellence is not something you turn on when you feel inspired. Excellence becomes your default, your normal, your natural state. It's not about outshining others. It's about outgrowing yourself. Everyone has high standards in some areas and shockingly low standards in others. That imbalance keeps them stuck. You cannot have 5-star standards at work and 1-star standards in your health and expect success to flourish. You can't be disciplined financially and irresponsible in your relationships and expect fulfillment. Life is holistic. Excellence cannot be compartmentalized. When you raise standards in one area, you ignite pressure to improve in every area. The transformation begins the moment you decide your mornings matter. How you begin your day sets a trajectory for everything that follows. If your first act is hitting snooze, your first decision is surrender. Your subconscious hears a message: I delay what matters. And the rest of the day follows that script. But when you wake with intention, you seize control. Whether it's exercise, meditation, planning, gratitude, reading, journaling, or silent reflection, the exact ritual matters less than the mindset. You tell the world, I am directing my life. My life is not directing me. Raising your standards for your body transforms your energy, your confidence, your clarity, and your emotional strength. You would never pour cheap fuel into a luxury car and expect high performance. Yet people feed their minds garbage, their bodies process junk, their souls chaos, and expect greatness. Treat your body as the foundation of your life, not the afterthought of your lifestyle. Raising your standards for growth means learning becomes non-negotiable. You read, study, analyze, listen, and reflect even on days when you don't feel like it. You commit to persistent, aggressive self-education because you know that the version of you tomorrow must be stronger than the version of you today. And raising your standards for relationships might be one of the most powerful changes of all. You cannot rise while surrounded by those who choose to sink. You cannot fly while surrounded by those who clip wings. You must surround yourself with people who challenge you, people who make excellence feel normal, people who hold you accountable to the potential you know you're capable of. You are not here to be average. You are not here to settle. You are not here to mimic the patterns of the majority. You are here to elevate. You are here to lead. You are here to grow into the version of yourself that you were born to become. And that transformation begins the moment your standards shift from acceptable to exceptional. Your life will rise to meet the level of your standards. Raise your standards, and your life will rise with them. Most people move through life surrounded by voices that pull them backward, not forward. This doesn't mean you should cut ties or think you're above anyone. It means you must become intentional, selective, and protective about the people who influence your thinking, your attitude, and your standards. You absorb the energy of those around you, whether you realize it or not. So you must begin choosing your circle based on who elevates you, not who limits you. Seek out those living at a level you dream of reaching. Watch them. Learn from them. Notice their discipline, their habits, their mindset. Let their standards imprint onto yours until excellence becomes your baseline, not your exception. Raise your standards for time. Time is the most valuable treasure you possess. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose opportunities and gain new ones. But time never returns once it's gone. How you use your time exposes your true priorities, not the priorities you tell others, not the priorities you convince yourself you care about, but the priorities you reveal through your actions. If you say, family matters, but you consistently choose distractions over connection, then your standards are out of alignment. If you say success matters, but you fill your days with noise and trivial tasks, then your standards betray your intentions. Begin treating time like the priceless currency it is. Plan with clarity. Schedule with intention. Put the important before the urgent. Learn to say no to the good things, so you create room for the great things. Remove activities that feed nothing but emptiness. Understand that being busy is not a badge of honor. It's often a sign of lack of direction. Productive doesn't mean effective. Effective means progress, results, growth, elevation, not motion without meaning. Raise your standards for financial mastery. Money is not your identity, but it is a tool that affects every area of life. Your peace, your safety, your ability to provide, to help, to create, to build. High financial standards do not mean greed. They mean responsibility. They mean respect for your future self. They mean refusing to let ignorance or impulse control your financial destiny. Commit to saving a portion of every income, no matter how small. Commit to studying wealth-building strategies, budgeting, investing, creating assets. Commit to avoiding debt, except when it builds value. Commit to generosity, because giving strengthens your character and dissolves scarcity. Your financial life is a mirror reflecting your discipline, your awareness, your foresight, and your standards. Raise your standards for communication. Words are not just sounds. They are energetic signatures that shape relationships, create trust, or destroy it. Speak with purpose, truth, respect, and kindness. Remove gossip from your vocabulary. It corrodes integrity. Remove complaining. It reinforces helplessness. Remove negativity. It contaminates your mindset. Speak possibilities, solutions, encouragement, vision. And remember that your most important conversations are the silent ones you have with yourself. What you repeatedly tell yourself becomes the architecture of your mindset. Replace inner criticism with constructive self-direction. Replace doubt with belief. Replace fear with courage. Internal language becomes internal identity, and identity becomes action. Raise your standards for your physical environment. Your surroundings shape your subconscious. A cluttered environment breeds a cluttered mind. Chaos around you creates chaos inside you. Transform your space into an environment of clarity, order, inspiration, and progress. Remove everything that drains you, distracts you, or reminds you of past limitations. Surround yourself with symbols of who you are becoming. Books that stretch your mind, quotes that sharpen your spirit, visuals that spark your ambition. Let your environment push you forward instead of holding you still. And now we come to one of the most underestimated challenges of raising your standards: resistance from other people. When you elevate your life, people who remain stuck may feel threatened, insecure, or challenged. They may misunderstand you, judge you, criticize you, label you, distance themselves from you. Your growth forces them to confront their stagnation. Some will try to bring you down not because they dislike you, but because they are uncomfortable with their reflection when standing next to you. This is where commitment is tested. Will you lower your standards to make others comfortable? Or will you stay true to your higher level, even if it means being misunderstood temporarily? You must decide to live for your values, not their opinions. Your standards, not their comfort. Your destiny, not their expectations. Your life is yours. You alone bear its consequences. What's beautiful about raising your standards is that the effect compounds. Improvement in one area inevitably spills into another. Excellence spreads. You begin to walk differently, think differently, speak differently, behave differently. Suddenly, the things that once intimidated you become natural, and the things that once felt impossible become inevitable. The version of you that once struggled becomes the version of you others admire. Weakness becomes strength. Chaos becomes clarity. Stagnation becomes momentum. And understand this: raising your standards is not a dramatic leap. It is a consistent application of micro-elevations. A little more discipline today, a little more commitment tomorrow, a little less distraction next week, a little more determination next month. Growth is not loud. It is steady. It is quiet. It compounds. If you elevate your standards by even 1% each day, you become 37 times stronger, wiser, better by the end of 1 year. That kind of transformation can reshape your entire identity. The mistake most people make is thinking that high standards must produce immediate results. But excellence is built over seasons, not seconds. They do the right thing for 2 days, don't see instant change, and give up. They return to comfort, to laziness, to old patterns. But those who become unstoppable understand that consistency beats intensity, that daily effort beats occasional passion, that habits build empires. Every single day you have the chance to push your standards a little higher. Every single day you can ask more from yourself than you did yesterday. Every single day you can choose to upgrade your mindset, your habits, your behavior, your expectations. That is not a burden. That is a privilege. A privilege many waste. A privilege few embrace. A privilege that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Your life will never rise above the standards you set. Low standards create low outcomes. High standards create high achievements. No standards create no results. But the beautiful truth is that standards are a choice. You get to choose how you live, how you grow, how you show up, how you lead, how you love, how you contribute, how you evolve. You get to choose what version of yourself becomes real. This journey is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than the person you were last week, last month, last year. It isn't about impressing people. It's about fulfilling potential. It isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning faster, adjusting faster, rising faster. Make the decision today that you will refuse mediocrity from yourself, that you will not settle for good enough, that you will live as if your potential matters, that you will raise your standards across every area of life, and then fight every day to honor those standards. Your future self is waiting for you to step into the version of you that was always possible. Your dreams are waiting for the person who takes them seriously. Your destiny is waiting for the standards that unlock it. You are capable of greatness. You are capable of transformation. You are capable of a life that most people only imagine, but that life is reserved for those who raise their standards and refuse to lower them. The world is waiting for your best, not your average, not your excuses, not your hesitation. Your best. And your best begins the moment your standards climb higher than your comfort. The power is in your hands. The time is now. Raise your standards and rise into the life you were born to live.